About our system, it's going to make your job easier as a teacher and make your classrooms and hallways safer. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And Sarah, you tell me when, are you ready? All right, we're good to go. Okay, so I've been in campuses from 5As to 2As, those 31 years. And you know, we've had all kinds of issues. Every campus has a lot of the same issues, regardless of where you're at. And so we're going to kind of show you today, we're going to start off with the basic type of pass, which is probably the most common, is going to be a restroom pass. All right, so our system's completely web-based. You can log into it as long as you have internet access. You can use a cell phone, you can use a laptop, an iPad, whatever. So I think at Klein, everyone uses Chromebooks, right? So let's imagine you're up there teaching, and your student wants to go to the restroom. You can tell the student, well, you make the pass and you keep teaching. Now, you have a couple of options. A kid can either create a pass on the Chromebook, or you can actually have a kiosk set up in your class. There's a way to do that. But let's say the kid has a Chromebook. So what you're looking at on the right-hand side, that is the student's view on their dashboard. The left-hand side is your view. So what is the student going to do? He wants to go to the restroom. You tell him to make the pass. You're teaching. He's going to choose where he's currently located. He goes to that drop-down box. He picks the name of the teacher or where it may be, or the location. If you see the icons right below that with all the little pictures, the emojis, every kid can create their own speed dial. So they can put all their teachers. So the student, and by the way, they can't put the emojis. Those are your emojis. You create those. We don't want them to do that. So the kid will pick the teacher, then they're going to pick the location. And they're going to go down below, and they will, once again, they have a drop box. Maybe they're going to another adult, or they're going to a specific location. And your administrators can make it very specific. They can have like the girls 100 hall restroom, the girls 200 hall restroom. They can be very specific. What's also nice about our system, your administrators can decide how many passes every kid gets. So they can limit it. Some kids can get more, some can get less. I know my campus, they got 2 passes a day. And that was it. And we'll talk more about that. But your administration will set their limit that they think is necessary. So let's say the kid creates the pass. They hit submit. Now, it's hard to hear that, but there was a ding. I know some of the front may have heard that. What that is, that's telling you as a teacher, hey, there's a pass waiting on my dashboard. Anytime a pass is created, it will notify you with that sound. So for another example, if you send a student from your class to your class, you're going to hear that notification that a kid is coming to you. Okay? Now, let me just say this. Just because this is electronic, you're still in charge of your classroom. You know, if a kid wants to create a pass, they still need to get your permission to make a pass. Does that make sense? So none of that's going to take away from you. So if the student at this point has made the pass, now, 31 years, secondary campuses, everywhere I went, the same problem, the same dadgum kid in the hallway over and over and over. Those frequent flyers, right? But you don't know how many times that kid's been out before he gets to you, do you? But you do with the hall pass. If you see right here, you can click on the student's name on your dashboard. You can see every pass that kid has already had that day. You can see where they went, what time they went, how long they were out. You can say, wait a minute. You went 10 minutes ago with Miss Johnson's. You don't need to go again. So you could use that for your benefit. Or if you're up there teaching, they could walk up to you, show you their Chromebook. On the Chromebook, you see in the top right corner with that red dot, it's got the number 1. That means that kid's already had one pass. You click on it, look, you can see that same information. All right? So now if you decide you want to approve the pass, okay, you say, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to let the kid go. You have 3 ways to approve the pass. Number 1, you can go on the teacher dashboard, you can click approve, or the kid could walk up to you, hand the Chromebook, you would put in, you click on your name, where it says like there, Miss Harris, and you would put a PIN number. Now every one of you are going to create a PIN number. Okay, it needs to be unique to you. Because our system's kind of like a credit card. You know, if you put a PIN number in too many times on a credit card, what happens if it's wrong? It locks you out. It'll do the same thing to a kid. So you need to make that PIN number unique to you. We had a school call us one day and say, hey, we got an issue. Miss Smith, she's got 70 kids out of her classroom on passes. Well, you know why? You know what her PIN number was? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? But we immediately saw it because all of a sudden it will tell you who approved the pass. So the name popped up. We caught it immediately. Within 10 minutes, they fixed the issue. Okay? So that's the second. Now, there is one other option. So Sarah, go ahead and submit the pass. Now, one other option, and this one I really like as an ex-principal and trying to get teacher buy-in. We ask a lot of our teachers. I know, especially since COVID. You don't want more, okay? Amen, right? Okay. So one of the things that the auto pass feature helps us, it allows the kid to start and stop the pass. Now, don't freak out yet, but it really works great. The way it works is that, and your administration they'll turn this on and let you know how and when they want to use it. But for example, use it for restrooms. The kid has made this pass, right? And your administration will put in like 10 restrooms, or however many restrooms you got on the campus. You choose the restrooms as a teacher that are in your hallway, okay, or wherever. Because you only want the kids going that way, right? You don't want them going somewhere else. And you can limit how many kids can be out of your class on an auto pass. I highly recommend you keep it at 1 or 2 at most, okay? So that means more kids can't leave your class on an auto pass. But what I loved about it was that kids made his pass, you're teaching, the kid holds his Chromebook up. I've made my pass, can I go? And you look over there, and you say, yeah, go ahead. They click start, and it turns green, and the timer has started. So what I was able to tell my teachers was that literally didn't take you any more time than it takes you to say, yeah, get that lanyard and leave. Okay? The difference is it's in our system. It timestamps it. Your administrators can walk around campus and see every kid that's in the hallway on their cell phones. Okay? Or if they're not supposed to be in the hallway. Okay? Or if they're in the wrong location. All right? In fact, that option is available to you. Sarah, can you pull up the teacher dashboard? Everybody see up there where it says My Passes? Sarah, if you'll cover My Passes. Most of you, when you create on your system, when you log in, you're going to leave it on My Passes. And you can set it where it only shows your active passes, or Sarah, click both, where it does both passes. Or you can set it where it shows all of your passes for that day. Okay, even your ended ones. But that gets kind of busy, right? So my teachers usually kept it on active. But let's say you're sitting there and there is an emergency shutdown. You've got to lock this campus down immediately. Every adult on this campus can go to all passes. You can click on all passes and you would be able to see every student that's in the hallway. And you could say, you know what, we got 2 kids in our 100 hall restroom, let's pull them into a safe location. And then with a click of a button, you could go there where it says end and keep. Even if that kid's not one of your students, you could end the pass right there, or you could go over to the little comment section and type in to your principal, hey, I've got Joe. Okay? And I know you may never have that happen. I had it happen on my campus. It was actually right across the street. We were in a community, and a guy had pulled a gun and was threatening his wife. Okay, so the sheriff's department pulled up. Well, I had kids everywhere. It's a high school campus. They're walking all over the place doing things. So we were able to quickly figure out which ones weren't in a classroom and who pulled them into a safe location. Because if it was something on your campus, you've got to account for every kid. Okay, it's important. So that's a nice safety feature for our system. So that's how you do restroom passes. The kid comes back, he would end the pass if it's an auto pass, or you could end it, and that's literally all it takes. All right, real simple. A couple of questions on the bathroom pass. Anybody at this point? We've got some other stuff to show you. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Sarah, let's do a pass to the front office. Now this is going to look a little bit different. Okay. So let's say a student is going from one adult to another. They're going to check in with somebody, right? So in this situation, the student wants to go to the front office. If you notice here, it requires the student to put a reason. Your administration can say, some locations, the kid's got to put a reason. Some locations, we're going to make it optional. In some locations, you can hide. Probably for the bathroom, you don't want to know that reason, so you would just hide that. So at this point, the pass has been created just like a bathroom pass. The teacher approves it. Okay, so when she approves it, Here's the difference. Now see the difference here? That is going to go to wherever the kid's going. So if you're the adult on the other end, it's going to notify you. I had 2 secretaries in my office when I was principal. Anytime a student came to our office, it notified all 3 of us. And we could see, well, Lily's coming from Mr. Hills. She left at 3:25, and if we scrolled over to the right, we could see why. We could see why the kid was coming. Right? So I had that information available for me. Okay? I love that timestamp, because I'm sure all your kids get where they're supposed to in a timely manner. My campus, it didn't always happen that way. So I was able to monitor that. Now, once they get there, you have 3 choices. You can click arrive, which means they're going to be there a little bit, then they're going to go. Or maybe in and out. This kid's going to grab their lunch and go back to the class. Or maybe you're going to keep that kid into the next period. You could just click end and keep if you wanted to, and then that means you're going to keep the kid. What's kind of cool about our system, though, you could notify the person on the other end, type in the message, hey, I'm keeping Joe, and let them know. I know my teachers used to complain that we'd interrupt class too much with the intercom. So this is a way to avoid that. Now, we'll caution you, all of those comments that you type in are visible by the student. So they need to be generic in nature, unless you're ready to be retired with me. Okay, so just something to be aware of. So we're going to say, Sarah, go ahead and click arrive. Notice what it does. It's going to timestamp it and name stamp it. Okay, even when your subs are here, your subs will be able to use the system, and it will put the name of the sub on there, so your administration can track all that, who's having contact with the kids. When they get ready to go back, they would click returning. And then you see when they get back, and as a teacher, when that kid came back in, you could end that pass. All right. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Question?
Can parents see this?
Parents do not have access to the system, no ma'am. However, you as a teacher have the ability to pull up reports for every kid, and you can pull up a report with an Excel spreadsheet to be able, if you had that parent-teacher conference, to show, you know what, Ms. Johnson, look how many times your kid leaves my class. Here it is. It's already documented. It will even show you the exact total amount of time they've been out. Okay? Did I see a hand? Yes, sir. Then we'll come to you.
How does the teachers receive alerts? Does this website have to be open at all times?
Yes. It's a good question. What I used to tell my teachers, what I would recommend is when you turn on your computers in the morning, just log in, just like you log into your emails, just log in eHall Pass and just leave it running in the background. And that's how it'll notify you. Yes, sir.
In the same way that you can limit, 2 passes per student a day, what about the students that wait for that 1 class period, and every 5th period they're going? Can you set it up where they can only go from your class that period once, twice a week kind of thing? Instead of the twice a day, the same kid wants to leave class every day.
Right. Well, our system does not allow you to do that. However, because you're able to pull those reports, you have that documentation, you could go and say, hey, go to the principal or the teacher or the parent and say, hey, look, your kid's missing. You wonder why your kid's failing math? He's missing 10 minutes every day out of my class. Look here. So you have that availability. Is there an issue? Does this kid need to go to a doctor? He's got some kind of bladder issue? I don't know. But somebody needs to check it out. So you're going to have that, because let's be honest, when you walk in that door, those parents, most of the time it's not going to be, they're not happy to be there. Okay? And so if anything you have for yourself to be able to document and back up what you're going to be talking to them about, it's very important. And whether you're an administrator or teacher, it's a good tool to have. All right. The next thing I want to show you is the teacher proxy pass. Okay, so one of the things our system will do, let's say that kid has used all his passes that day. If he tries to go again, our system will not let him create another pass. All right, now, the teacher pass is a teacher-created pass that does not count against the student passes. Now, your administration will tell you how and when they want you to use the teacher proxy pass. We used it like this. If a kid had used all his passes and he just swore he had to go to the bathroom, I told my teachers, we're going to err on the side of caution. You go ahead and you can approve that, but because the reason why I didn't want a mad mama up there, because I didn't let Johnny go to the bathroom. Let's be honest. Does anybody want to do it? You don't. However, at the end of the day, my assistant principal would pull a report, and she could see every kid and how many times they had been out. And we might see a kid that this day they had been out more than their normal allotted amount. I might let it slide. That kid may have had stomach issues that day. But if I see it again, now we got a pattern. Now we want to address it. Does that make sense? Everything is going to be where you can see it and address it if you need to. So be aware. Now what it will do, the system will do, if you as a teacher create a teacher pass, you see right there in that red box, it's telling you you're about to override a limit. It warns you. So it does give you the discretion beforehand. But once again, you need to talk to your administrators on how and when they want y'all to use that. So they'll let you know when they want you to use those teacher passes, because they are powerful. Okay? All right. Any questions about the teacher pass? Yes, sir.
Documentation is great, but does this program take away, stop, or slow down instruction?
No, that was one of the things. That's why I love the auto pass feature. Because it literally, like right now, you need a kid to go to the restroom. Okay, if you tell me, yeah, go get that lanyard, use the auto pass to go to the restroom, it's the same thing. Yeah, Johnny, go ahead, use the auto, make your pass and go. One of the things you're going to find out is a lot of kids, when you tell them, yeah, you want to go to the restroom, make a pass, guess what? They're going to go, I really don't want to go. Okay, because they just want to get out of class. Okay, they're going to want to use those 2 passes, or however many y'all give them, 3, 4. They're going to want to use those in a certain time. You'll find out on your campus that it's going to save more time for you as a teacher. You will have fewer kids leaving your class for whatever reason, because you're going to be able to track it, monitor it, and limit it. Your administration can not only limit the number of passes the kids get, they can also limit how many kids are in certain locations. So if a restroom's full, it will block them and tell them that location's full. They're going to have to try again later. It will not let them go, which keeps safety. There's a safety issue. If you got a bunch of kids going to that little restroom, there's a reason. There's a reason they're going. Another thing, if I don't want you in the hallway with you, you ain't going because I can block you. And if one of you's out, the other one will get a message that you cannot be out in the hall. Another student is out in the hall you're not supposed to be with. Try again later. Okay? So, and we use that for, I know a lot of people use it for, boyfriend, girlfriend, bullying, but we use it for vapors. Vaping was huge on our campus. They would meet up to vape. Y'all know, I heard y'all dealing with it just like the rest of us. But they would meet up to vape. Now, did it stop the vaping? No, but it made it a lot harder because they couldn't meet up with their buddies. Because what often happened is there might be 1 or 2 of them that have a vape on, okay? And they share it. Y'all know that? They hide it in their pants and other places. And I'm like, really? You're going to put that in your mouth? So, yes, ma'am.
This is probably more so for Mr. Vaughn. Does this, do they need a physical, tangible item for the hallway where you put the e-hall pack?
No, that is still something to be determined. We just had the presentation right before we got in here, and so there's some things to wrap our head around before we truly implement this. Realistically, I would like to try to get something out there here within the week, how we use it, because we were already looking at using this next year, but we got a deal to start it this year. And I would like to take the remaining part of this year to kind of see the pitfalls of it.
Yeah, we're gonna pilot it in some areas first. My ultimate goal is to get out of the hand passes because I've seen them and they're gross. They're handed around and touch, and I don't think they're sanitary to be put in rooms. And so, 20 kids touching the same damn pass all day long. Or, we have these 2 that are handed here in the cafeteria and handled by 100 kids. We're looking to get away from that by using this system to monitor instead. But again, like Jason said, we need to play around with it first to make sure that's feasible before we just punch and say this is what we're doing.
Now, the last pass I do want to show you, I know it's good time for y'all to go, but there is an appointment pass feature. The appointment pass feature is going to allow, it's great for counselors. If have any counselors in here? If you're a counselor or a nurse, if you've got a kid that you need to schedule to come in on a regular basis, you can schedule it. What it will do the day of the appointment, it will email the student, and 20 minutes and 5 minutes prior to that appointment, it will pop up on the student's device. It also pops up on the device where on the teacher's dashboard where the kid is coming from. Okay, so it gives you that ability. We also used it for remediation on my campus. We had students who needed to be pulled out for remediation, and it was our documentation for House Bill 4545 because it showed when they left, when they got there, so we didn't have to keep it on a spreadsheet. We were able to pull our reports. All we had to do was in the notes section put why they were going. Star review, retest, whatever you happen to have there, you just put that information there. So the appointment pass feature is a great tool. You will find out every campus uses this system differently. You'll have to find what works best for you, how your administration decides they want to roll it out. It does a lot of things. I think, like I said, your administration is going to probably roll it out to you at different phases, or maybe all at once. That'll be their discussion. But it does a lot of things. Like I said, you will find out it will change your atmosphere. I'll never forget the first week we were using it. I walked out in the hallway. I looked around and I kind of freaked out for a second. And I'm not going to say what I said, but where is everybody? I got nervous, and then I realized, well, crap, they're in class where they're supposed to be. Because you stop, you can address those frequent flyers, you can keep those kids apart who don't need to be together. And so it helped the whole atmosphere of our campus. Our teachers found out kids were leaving their class a lot less. Yes, sir. There is an app right now for the students. The teacher app is being developed and should be out at the end of this month. Okay? If not, it will definitely be in before the next school year. Okay? Like I said, I used to pull it up. I just had to go in through a browser on my cell phone. Me, my assistant principals, our SROs, I think on my secretaries, we even had certain people at times when they had hallway duty, they were able to pull it up on their phones. A kid could walk by and we had the student badges. They had to wear their badges so I could see Joe Smith. Yeah, okay, you're good. All right, because I could see where you were. And so if you were in the right place or not. So there's a lot of ways you can decide how you want to use the system, and it's very, like I said, very flexible. Am I leaving anything off, Sarah, at this point? I know we're trying to get through because y'all are supposed to be out of here pretty soon or past time. Anything else? Oh yeah, last thing, out of office. If you're not going to be where you need to be, you can go to the out of office feature. Maybe you got duty, you can block so nobody create passes to you. There's also the ability under training, even after this stuff, if you ever forget how to do something, you click training. For those of you who just love to read how to do manuals, there's that. Or there are videos for the rest of us, where you can watch a short 3-minute to 5-minute video that shows you how to do different aspects of the system. So it's a great tool. I think this thing just got out of here. Oh, yeah.
It's tempting.
Last chance for questions before I turn it over. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you for your time. I'll be here a few minutes afterwards if anybody has any questions, and I'll turn it over to y'all.
And please do, come up and ask.